Hello and welcome to the Picnic Bench.
Oh.
We're Roger and Monica from Life Resources. For anyone that wants to get in contact with us, at the beginning of this episode you'll find all the details or below in the description. So
Last time we were talking about the goals and the motivation, and today we would like to continue a little bit on that subject because it seems that this is something that we always do through our life, mainly all day, every day.
Yeah, we all make the goals and need motivation sometimes.
Need motivation. So I guess I would like to start with, so you all made your goals and you know what your motivation is. The first thing I would say it's sometimes the goal you set, which is brilliant, might be the goal for the whole year. And then you look at this goal and it started, it's in January, and then let's say your goal was writing a book.
Right? It's a good example.
It's a good, it's a basically good one. It's like, oh my god, the January comes up. How many pages? Oh wow, what I'm gonna do. It's such a big thing, and then you start to sort of set on, who's gonna be publishing it, and you go on, and the task becomes really big. The best thing is to chunk it down. So what I mean by that is saying, okay, so maybe I'll write 3 pages a month, or even better, 1 sentence a day.
Yeah, that's a great limit. So make your goals, make them smaller. So you've got little celebrations. So if you do that 1 sentence, you've got to celebrate that 1 sentence,
Yeah, and I think if you think about it, all I'm gonna do, you think I'm tired today, busy day at work or family, it's just 1 sentence. Even if I write, it's raining today, sentence done, your goal is achieved. Very often you're gonna find out that once you get into it, you will think, oh, it's raining, and then you continue with something else, and then suddenly it might get into some days that you might be writing for an hour or 2, not even realizing, because you get so much in that, you will be in that feeling of, wow, I'm just getting on with it, and you write possibly more than you expected. But you don't need to also push yourself or beat yourself down that you didn't. 1 sentence. That's it.
Yeah, that's all it takes sometimes. If you break your goals down into little segments and you achieve that segment, and then if you go over, it's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, it's a bonus. You'll start moving along a lot quicker when you have a smaller goal. That chunks up to the bigger goal at the end.
Yeah, it was like, I remember, like I used to do it sometimes with running. When I would say, oh, today I'm just gonna run, and then I saw that massive amount of the distance in front of me, and I'm not really a great runner at all, so I was like, oh no, I just, but then I would be like, oh, I'm, start to run a little bit, and then I just keep thinking, oh no, I'm just gonna run to that next tree I can see, and then you're just like, you're going, and then his next tree, there's like, or maybe a few more steps I can do, and then you realize that you pushed yourself a little bit more, but you don't have that long distance in front of you. I think that generally worked for me, yeah. And I found out that some days I could actually run a bit longer because I've chunked it or on a really small distances, which is like, oh yeah, I can see that bench, I can see this, but if it's like a 5 miles, or thinking you can't always see it, or you already know how far that is, and you're like, I'm already tired and it's that far to go. You just get the, so that's the idea of a chunking. I think it's
the other thing that we found really, really useful over the time is making a list for each day. So for that list for running, for instance, you would have your list down, right, I'm going to leave the house at this time, I'm going to run to that spot, I'm going to have my bag ready, I'm going to have my water ready, and you slowly make the list so that when you get up the following day, you're like, right, this is the list, and you can tick them off as you go down.
Yeah, I think that gets me into what just Roger said, is basically getting into, so you have your goals, you have your motivation, you chunk the goals into something that you actually see being able to do every day. And then that is the most important factor, and that is action. You actually have to do it. Because the goals are brilliant, motivation is that, but if you're actually not gonna do it, it doesn't make any sense, or it's basically not getting really what you want. The action is very much exactly like Roger said, is, you know, so sometimes let's imagine you very often you have a goals, setting something, you either want to get rid of certain habits, or you have to you after gaining maybe more clients or whatever that is, but it's something you've possibly not having at this moment. So you talking on something you want to achieve or you want to get rid of, but it's a state you don't yet have. So you don't have the practical skills of dealing like you already have it. I'm going to explain what I mean, okay? So let's say you've not been really going to a gym, and now you decided, is it time for me to get healthier or lose, you know, get some desired weight or whatever the reason might be. And you've not done that before, right? You've not been going regularly, maybe once a year, once a month, if so, okay? So it's not something your brain is wired to do every day. So you've got to start to create those habits, and that's what we're talking about, action. So like Roger said, sometimes people say, tomorrow I'm going to gym. Then they get up, you know, it's their holiday, for example, or day off they don't, you know, so they're like, where did I put the bag? Oh, what shoes I'm gonna get? Because it's not something you do every day, and what I'm gonna wear. And you've already think about the task you have to do before you actually even get to a gym. Then you look at it and think, oh, am I gonna take a bus? Or maybe car? Oh, no, I can't take a car. What bus is gonna get me there? Because you've never used that bus before, for example. So it's a lot of research and action you have to take before you actually do it. And then you think, you know what, it's raining, maybe I'm not gonna go. Or you could say, oh, it's sunny, I should spend maybe my day off with my family.
You manage to find ways of talking yourself out of actually going.
Yeah, so the best way is to do it, let's say, a day before. Day before you think, I'm getting my bag ready for tomorrow morning for a gym. And you've got all your clothes there ready, you've got everything. You have enough time to adjust what you're doing the next day. Then you know, I'm gonna get there earlier, so I'm gonna set the alarm. Because it's my day off, I don't need to get up, I'm gonna set an alarm to do it. Then you find out how you're gonna get there. You know, you even have a coat ready, oh, checking the forecast, oh, it's gonna be raining, I want to walk, I better have my raincoat and everything ready. Then you sort of set for the next day, all these tasks are covered, you don't need to concentrate on them, you just grab the bag and go. Majority of you, I think, I would say, are capable already doing this because you've already done it in some scenario.
Yeah, there's always a scenario where you've prepped the night before, like we were saying earlier, when going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get your food ready, get your clothes ready, and set the alarm, so you've already prepped that. So when you get up in the morning, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to think, oh, got to do this, got to do. It's already done.
Yeah. So basically, everyone already has got those skills, but when you apply, you need to apply those skills then into a new habit, because that is something you've not done before. Very often when you set the goals, it's not something you do every day, otherwise it won't be a goal, it will already be something you're doing. So you've got to allow yourself that time to prepare, and I think that's what it is.
I think a great thing as well is like I was saying before about having a checklist. If you're working on your own business and you're looking at marketing, for instance, and you've not really done a lot of marketing, and you're thinking to yourself, right, I need to let as many people in the world know about my business. Well, where are you going to start? That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. So you make a post for Instagram. Can you share that same post on Facebook, Twitter, your LinkedIn account, your website? And could you do it one after another so you can tick them off? And then you've got all your marketing outlets all covered. Covers all your social media. That's it. You've done for that day. Next day, maybe you don't have to market that way. You could change it. But getting these lists and checklists ready and getting it prepped. So let's say for tomorrow I want to do a marketing thing. I would start today looking at what I wanted to post for tomorrow. So tonight I would say, right, I'm going to have that ready to post, and then tomorrow when I get up I'm going to post it on there, and there. And then I'll tick it off as I go down, so I'm done.
Yeah, I think that from the business point, that's actually a good example, because that's exactly what I normally do or / don't do actually, because it's like first thing I just give, I'm gonna start posting something, I'm gonna start to do something, and then I realize when it's time to post, it's like, but where I'm gonna actually do it. And then by the time I decide, is it on this, on that, is it a good time, or are people still in a Christmas mood, is anybody gonna actually read it? Then by the time I run all these processes, I've already maybe spent an hour doing it and still didn't post anything.
Yeah.
Because basically I didn't do that prep. Because it's not something I naturally do. If I naturally do it all the time, I wouldn't have to think about it. I need to get into that habit, and it's like, and it can be overwhelming that some people say, don't post this, then you read the article, people say, post this, and you get so overwhelmed when you don't know it, that you're just not going to end up doing anything.
And that then knocks your motivation back.
Yeah.
Think, I'm not going to bother, I'll stop, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So it's literally that little bit of prep for the following day, and just know I can post this on all the channels, and go ahead with it and mark them off. Make sure you know what you're going to achieve for that following day. When you start realizing what you're going to achieve for the following day with the actions, you get to the point where you understand and you're sort of getting happier. So the more motivation comes. I've done that today. Look, I've got hours left. All right, do you know what? I can start to do this as well. I've got another plan. I'm going to post this in a week. So I'll get this one ready for the week. And so marketing is really, really good to have checklists.
Yeah, I think quite a lot of them are, to have the checklist, because it also shows what you've actually done. Sometimes you could really be doing a lot of things, but when some people need the visual representation of ticking something or achieving something. Yeah. Those people who like to complete the task, for them it will be important. People who need the visual, because sometimes when you go running, for example, or go to gym, you don't really have the visual representation, but maybe when you write it, running, and then you tick it, is it different. Kinesthetic people probably won't need running, because they will feel it, that they just run.
It's in the bounce.
Yeah. So I think it will have to be a different things. Yeah, some people might need to run that checklist maybe visually, and then before they go to sleep say, I've achieved this. That self-talk, which will be more auditory maybe,
I think the self-talk's needed quite a bit for some people. I think because if they're not visual and they're not kinesthetic, that talking going on inside the head, you've got to make sure it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you sit down in the evening, you think, I haven't done anything all day. And then you start to look back and you think, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And then you start thinking,
basically, that's
I've had a busy day.
Yeah, and sometimes you really can be in that, in that situation when you feel I haven't done anything. And then when you start to actually realize what everything you've done, is like, because you maybe didn't make that checklist, that plan or whatever, you didn't tick it, it always feels like you maybe have not done a lot. So that could be also the scenario. And the one thing we spoke about is
so before we go on to this next part,
I
think what you need to do is make sure you've got your checklist ready the night before for the following day. So let's say we've got our goals, we've got our motivation, and we've got a checklist. Come the following day, there's been a thing about where people procrastinate, where they sit, start looking at this, start looking at that. Let's get that checklist out in front of you. And Monica made a really good observation about something that we all did when we were children at school.
Yeah.
So do you want to...
Yeah, well, I think that this is the important part to, you can have it already, but then there is that moment when you just go, right? So is that moment is like when your alarm, goes off, and are you sort of like put it into snooze and sleep a bit longer? When is that moment for you when that snoozing stops and you go? So for me, as alarm goes, I go, right? But we all might have it differently. It's important that you know that no matter what, eventually you will go and do it. The best part is a job. Unless you really want to lose the job and not show up continuously, you will eventually go. So you all have that marker basically in your head that you suddenly you'll go. Some it's 10 minutes later, some immediately, some even 5 minutes before the alarm. That's what I sometimes do. But when is it? And I think the best way is when we did our PE in school.
Yeah, on sports days and the races.
3, 2, 1, go. That usually works all the time.
It gives you that kick, that go. We all did it as kids. We all managed to do some sort of sports or something where we were racing, and it was always 3, 2, 1, go. That's it. Get up, do it.
I sometimes seen it. It can't be too long, so I wouldn't say count from 10, because if you are a quick action person, it's too long. You already bored,
past it,
right?
Yeah.
And it's basically that 3, 2, 1 go is that counting down and then that go. You go for it. And I think it's we've done it very often. Sometimes you don't even know you do it. I don't know when you go on the beach holiday sometimes, and then the sea is a bit cold. And you just think, and sometimes you see people, come on guys, it's 3, 2, 1, and we all go. Or jumping from something, like when we used to do the outdoor sports activities, when people need to jump off something or get into action, very often the 3, 2, 1 go, it tells them. There is no discussion about it, and I think that is one of those, if you have it in your head, 3, 2, 1 go. And once you're out in that action, the steps, surprisingly, they follow.
Yeah, they come a lot smoother. Once you've got that motion going, it's like, think about a big rock rolling down a hill. So we're going to push it, 3, 2, 1, go. It starts off slowly, and then as it starts going, it starts rolling and rolling and rolling until it's completed, it's rolled down the hill. So it's done its task, it's completed it. It basically went down that hill ticking the tick boxes, completed its task, and now it can stop and relax at the bottom.
And I think imagining it taking it back to PE, because like I said, majority of us have been through at least once in a lifetime in that situation when you are on the start there and you wait for that signal. And even if some of us might not really have that brilliant reaction straight away, as some start a bit earlier and then have to start again. But the thing is not very often you see that there are people there a minute, I'm not gonna exaggerate, a minute later still thinking whether they should go. For some reason they go. They might not be able to run the whole track or whatever the thing is.
But they go when it goes.
But they go. It's I mean, maybe it is a split seconds, a bit of delay, but it's not really a massive one.
They still get up and off.
Yeah, so I think because we all, I think, naturally have that. That is something we've experienced and seem to be working. Well, why not to apply it into whatever action you need to do?
It's useful stuff that happened as a child that we can take forward with us and use beneficial.
Yeah.
So for us, like we said, you've got your goals, you've got your motivation, you've got your checklist, and the last thing is 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're gonna leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
See you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.